Hello everybody and welcome to the Masonic Youth TV show. I'm your host, Wayman Crowder, and in this episode, our very own Meriwether Stewart interviews Megan Johnson, a former Shriner patient and recent graduate of nursing school. But first, I want to talk about Masonic Youth Television, as this will be our last episode of the season. Several days ago, we launched a fundraising campaign in order to keep our group alive, but as of yesterday was the last official day of the fundraiser, and we fell drastically short of our goal. Masonic Youth Television will more than likely no longer exist, but we wish you all the very best and good luck to all the Masonic youth groups in Oregon. We hope your membership increases and we wish you continued success. So, Shriners Hospital for Children has helped over 1 million children over the last 100 years, and they are very worthy of your support. Now here's the interview with Megan Johnson. Take it away, Meriwether.
Hello, I'm Meriwether Stewart from Masonic Youth Television. I'm here with Megan Johnson.
I'm Megan Johnson. I am a former patient. I went to the Portland Shriners Hospital, and I was also the 2006 National Patient Ambassador, which was pretty cool. I got to meet a lot of really cool people. And talk about our great hospital system and the wonderful work that the Shriners and the ladies have done. And I also had just passed my nursing license, so I'm also a brand new registered nurse. That's a little bit about myself.
Mm-hmm. So I'm here to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
What was your experience as a patient of the Shriners Hospital?
Ooh, I have I have a lot of wonderful, great experience. My experience, well, not all my experience was great. I mean, having surgery is not fun. Let's just put it that way. I mean, it's not fun going through the pain, and surgery is also scary. But besides going through recovering from surgery and the pain and all that, most of my experience has been wonderful and great. My experience of the Shrines has been just wonderful. I received wonderful care. The doctors and nurses have been great. They treat you like family, like their own kids. I remember one time that there was a night nurse I had. I wasn't feeling very good, and most of my surgeries, I have to say pretty much all my surgeries but one, are all craniofacial because I was born with cleft lip and palate. And so when you have that, you have to be on a liquid diet. And so you're very restricted what you can eat. And I remember one time that I wasn't feeling very good in the middle of the night and I was starving. And the night nurse that I really liked so much, she got me a chocolate pudding, which I like. And she spoon-fed me and helped me eat because I couldn't eat very well because my mouth was so swollen and I was very in pain. And she took her time just to help spoon feed me, I guess you could say. And I don't know, just something simple like that, and the kindness that she showed, because I know that she was very busy like that. And then my other great experience I had was one of my very first surgeries I had at Shriners. I wasn't feeling very well. I just had surgery, and this was actually 20 years ago. This in June this year, there was a Shriner clown that came and visited me at the hospital. His name was Pumpkin. And I remember that he came in and did these really cool magic tricks. And like he did this invisible ball you throw in a bag, which I really thought was an invisible ball. I was only 9 at the time. And I don't know, whatever he did, his presence there and all those really cool magic tricks, um, and giving my mom taking a picture of him, it just really made my stay just magical. And I was in so much pain, but just having him there and doing those really cool magic tricks just made me forget my pain. Another time was my other experience was I had a doctor's appointment when I was 15. I was actually just turning 16, and one of the hospital staff, her name was Kay, and she knew I was turning 16, and so she did a surprise sweet 16 birthday party, and she had all the staff, including the patients that were there that were staying in the hospital. They even came to the birthday party and said surprise. So I don't know. It's just they just make you feel really special. Like you're not like you're not like just a number. They just treat you like family. Like, hey, we're happy to see you.
Mm-hmm. When and how did you hear about the Shriners?
I used to sing when I was a kid. I used to sing at this kids singing group called Kids Company. And when I was 5 years old, um, we were invited to sing at this annual volunteer appreciation lunch. So every year, the hospital has a volunteers appreciation event that they do to thank all the hospital volunteers. They still do that even to this day. Um, and so I don't know if it was someone that somehow there was a connection with someone in our group that was related to Shriners, and we were invited to go there. And so I remember going there and we were singing for the patients and the staff and the volunteers. And there was a care coordinator at the time. She's now retired. She saw that I had cleft lip and palate, and she noticed I had that, and she talked to my mom and said, "Hey, we noticed that your daughter has cleft lip and palate, and we have a great doctor that does this, and we also have a wonderful team that provides us specialty care. So it's not just orthopedics; we also do plastic surgery and craniofacial. And we think that your daughter would be a wonderful candidate if you're interested." And so at the time, I went to a different hospital, but my parents knew about Shrines, but we thought that it was only for kids that didn't have insurance or it was for kids that were very poor. My parents had good insurance. But like care coordinator said, oh, no, it's for all kids, regardless of their ability to pay or regardless of background or whatever. And so ever since that day and that care coordinator saw me, I started going to Shriners when I was 5. And I didn't have my first surgery until I was 9 years old, because what made Shriners Hospital unique was they immediately noticed that I was very traumatized. I had PTSD from the previous hospital I was in that I went through. The hospital that I was being treated before. They were not kid friendly. Let's put it that way. And they actually Shriners had a child life specialist that worked with me first to make sure that they explained everything, and they wanted to make sure that I was comfortable and got to know the doctors. They wanted to address my fear and anxiety and get to know doctors and what surgeries that I may have. Overcome my fears is what it is. And that really helped a lot. And so by the time I was ready to have my first surgery at Shriners, I wasn't as scared. And what made Shriners unique, and what I really liked was they even let the child life specialist that I became friends with, Allison, they even let her go into surgery with me just to help overcome my fears. And that other hospital that I went to before didn't. They said, "Oh no, she won't remember this at all." But I sadly I remember a lot of the traumatic fears I had before I went to Shriners. So yeah, that's how I started going to Shriners.
So what made you want to pursue a career in nursing?
I have always wanted to go to become a nurse since I was age 5. Ever since I started going to Shriners Hospital, I was so inspired and motivated by the wonderful care and the compassion that the nurses and the doctors have done for me. I had some wonderful nurses, like the nurse I mentioned earlier that gave me chocolate pudding one night. Um, just the love and compassion they give me, but I also have been fascinated by the the medical skills that they done. Like I've always been curious about how do they give shots, how do they do IVs, how do they calculate medications, things like that. So not just the compassion and the bedside manner that they have shown, the role model that they have done, but I've also been fascinated by like being a patient myself and seeing all the medical skills. So that's what really inspired me, and I want to give back. I love helping others. That's just something I've always wanted to do, and I feel like it's my calling.
How has studying for your degree changed the way you view the current pandemic?
I don't know about how my degree has changed the way I view the pandemic, to be honest, because with our schooling, um, we're taught in general that it's really important that we need to emphasize whenever we're providing patient care in general, we always have to assume that regardless if they have like HIV, they have the flu, COVID-19, or whatever they have, even just the common cold, whatever, we have to assume that they are infected. We have to implement standard precautions, mean like we have to wash our hands before we even touch and see the patients, and then after we touch them and see them, or if we don't touch them, we have to wash our hands and do hand hygiene and all that. um, we also are taught that in school that certain populations are at risk and vulnerable to even like the flu or even like the coronavirus too, like the elderly and the young, like infants and children, like that, because of their immune systems. Like the elderly, for example, their immune systems, because they're older, their immune systems um, aren't as strong and healthy as ours are because they're older. And even the infants and the young children, for example, their immune system, they're going to be vulnerable because their immune system, they're immature, they haven't developed yet, and they're not as strong. So they're going to be prone to catching the cold or the flu or the coronavirus, for example. And so, and also this applies to people who have comorbidities, so like underlying conditions like having asthma or having diabetes or heart diseases, for example. So I mean, that's just I don't. So that's just what's. I don't think that's, to me, how I don't really think how it changes from my perspective view for the pandemic. We just have to apply with knowing what we already know currently, what I've been taught in school, and making sure that we have to maintain our distance, keeping social distance, and then making sure that we are constantly washing our hands too, and keeping the people in mind who are susceptible of getting the virus.
What sort of environment or section of hospitals do you seek to work in?
I've always wanted to work at a hospital. I've always dreamed of working at Shriners Hospital one day, but I need the experience first. I actually had just accepted a position at a nurse residency program, so they train you on the job for a year as a new grad. So I am going to be working in an inpatient unit, a medical surgical. So what that is it's just a general nurse floor where you get experience seeing all kinds of people. So I'll get all kinds of experience getting to see everybody. So that's because I'm pretty open to whatever I can see. So because I'm brand new, so I think that'd be a great start.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always wanted new kids. Sorry.
No, sorry about that. Do you have a continued relationship with the Shriners Hospitals or any other Masonic group?
I do. I am a member of Daughters of the Nile, Haddison Temple number 1 in Seattle. It started in Seattle, Washington. I am also a member of Alzara Court, number 58. It's in Portland, Oregon. And that's Ladies Orientalist Shrine of North America. They're the ones that wear the white fez and the red tassel. Those are the only 2 Masonic organizations I belong to. And I haven't been as active as I used to because I've been in nursing school. But I like to get more active when I can. I try to. I also have been a hospital volunteer at Shriners for, 11 years, but not routinely because of being in college. But what I do is I volunteer during special events, particularly every year, the Portland Hospital, the first Saturday of December, we have the Toy Run, which is a big donation event. We have thousands of bikers from the Abate organization that donate toys and games, and they donate those to the Portland Hospital for the kids, which is really cool to see. And I've also have given hospital tours for guests, but because of the pandemic, that's been kind of stalled.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for taking the time to have this little interview. This was fun.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for taking the time. I feel really honored to doing this. I really appreciate it.
That was a great interview. Good job, Meriwether, and thanks to your time, Megan. We really appreciate it. Well, that about wraps it up for this episode and the first season. We hope you have a great rest of your summer. It's been a pleasure trying to promote all these wonderful groups associated with the Masonic family, but we can no longer operate without a budget. So good night and farewell. Thanks for watching, everybody.